So I wanted to share the story and how BMP got our name. And it's hard to talk about because Michael is no longer here. And Michael was like a little brother to a lot of our friends group in Muskogee, Oklahoma, aka Mueller Boy. Was a very eccentric guy I met in high school, and we had a shared love for Green Day. I thought I had all the Green Day knowledge in the late 90s, and this guy could keep up toe to toe with me and even knew more of the facts. So I thought instantly, I've got to be best friends with this guy. And through our love of Green Day, I came over there one day and he opened up the door to so many other great bands, more of the underground punk bands I'd never heard of at the time. That, many people would hear a few years later on punk compilations and obviously going to places like the Warped Tour and things like that. But he had quite the collection of albums and movies, and he was a big music lover, also a big film buff. He loved films like no other. So early on in the early 2000s, when we first formed the band, 2001 is when we kind of formed the first musical Voltron with all three original members. Michael was watching us one practice, one summer night. Afterwards, we went off on a little drive, listening to music, as we always do. We didn't have a band name at the time. This was just really a fun project outside of school, playing in our drummer's Chuck's parents' garage, making a lot of noise. And Michael was there at every practice. He never missed a practice. He never missed a show. He was our biggest fan. And, he was like our little brother in the band. And that night, I'll never forget it. We're driving around listening to music. He blurts out the name Bill Murray's Prostate. BMP, and that was the creative genius of Michael. We all laughed. We were in just tears, hysterically laughing. I had to pull over and kind of stop for a minute and try to take this name in, this wild name. And my first thought was, this is terrible. That is an absolutely terrible name. But for a punk band, it works. It works perfectly. So we went back to the garage the next couple days and practiced again. And just, I think we had the name written down somewhere, maybe BMP or maybe the full name. Not even thinking that we were ever going to leave that garage. I mean, we were all just thinking, this was going to be some fun music we played for a little while. It might not last a year, and about 4 months later, we formed the original trio. And shortly after that, we were playing our first show in Muskogee, Oklahoma, on Mother's Day, of all events, at the Rainbow Amphitheater. And Michael was there, and it was just such a great night, a celebration with him and all of our good friends. I could see it in his eyes. He was so happy just seeing us play on that tiny stage, and I think in a way he influenced us to get out of that garage, just being our biggest supporter. So thank you, Michael, for that name. I grew over the years to love it, to hate it. I've had this love-hate relationship thing with it. It made a top 25 worst band names on like Yahoo, the Yahoo account one time. I was skimming through it, just typed up the name in like 2003, 2004, and there it was. I think the band The Butthole Surfers beat us out on that one, but we were like in the top 15 in somebody's blog about us. But on a serious note though, and Michael witnessed this firsthand, we worked very hard at it. We were a serious band, and there were times, the next couple of years, we were practicing 4 nights a week, very intense practice sessions because we wanted to be really good on stage and just keep working on our craft. And Michael was there through all the process. So I miss you, Mueller Boy. I wish you were still here, and I know you would be thrilled hearing our newer recordings that we did last year. I was really doing it for you, was my intentions. So, long story, but that's how we got our name. Over the years, it evolved to BMP. I think BMP was just the more acceptable initials. We started making up all kinds of other names from it, different different words and different things. Recently, it's Buttermilk Pancakes. I think it's a great band name. But the legend of BMP rides on. We're celebrating 25 years. And, a long-winded story, but AKA Mueller Boy gave us our name, and only a guy like Michael could name us that.